Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to another masterclass with me, Nicholas at leadminingpros.com. Today we've got a very special guest and we are going to be focused on pulling land data and how to maximize your land data in our campaigns at Lead Mining. Okay, today's guest today is one of the Apke brothers, Ron Apke. He is the founder of landportal.com, which I know you've heard of by now. And if you haven't, your mind is about to get blown. Okay, so pay close attention. A lot of clients call me all the time and they go, hey, how can I filter out wetlands? How can I filter out unbuildable lots? All this stuff. They have this big, ugly list that has a bunch of leads they don't want on it. Land Portal is that solution to that problem. Okay, but anyways, let's get our guest on here. Ron, how you doing today, man? Thanks for being here.
Doing well. Really excited for this, Nick.
Yeah, me too. Me too. You know, you guys have made my customers literally hundreds of thousands of dollars while saving them thousands of dollars. That's one of the unique thing about Land Portal. And what I mean by that is you guys, your quality is the best I've seen, hands down. And not only is the quality the best, but the filters, which I know we're going to get into, guys, filtering is everything when it comes to land. They have the best filters in the industry. Literally nobody's close. Okay. And then that's how you make them money, by good data, and you save them money by filtering out the bad data. Okay. They don't have to spend an extra $2,000 with me to call and text all these extra people because your system can already tell them that it's not what they're looking for. But I would love for you to start. Tell us what made you guys create this software. You know, who are you? A little bit of the origination story, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, so Dan and I, my brother and I, have been in land for about 6 years. We started flipping land, and you don't really think when there's not options, then like you don't really think about data. You're just like, this is part of the business. Targeting bad land is part of the business. Targeting whatever is part of the business. Targeting vacant land with houses on it is part of the business. And those were the things we were running into a lot the first 3 years, or really just up until this. And we knew there had to be a solution for this, a land specific solution. And as you know, like I know you do a lot of business with house wholesalers, everything like that, house flippers, and like their software is great for that. Really good software is out there, great for that. And we have house data as well. But nothing was made for land investors. Nothing was made for, I want to target this piece of land because it's X, or I want to avoid this type of land because it's X, whatever it is, wet, floodplain, road frontage. We're adding some really cool, we're adding water frontage right now, actually, which I don't even know if you know about that, Nick. So we're adding that. So there's we wanted to create a solution for land investors to be able to do the same stuff house does. I feel like land is just like always 5-10 years behind houses. And it's still probably not our software necessarily, but the business model is.
Right.
House wholesalers have been running house wholesaling businesses like a business. We talk about that a lot now, where land investors, like it was just so easy the last 5 years. Where it's getting a little tougher now. You got to actually be a business now. You need to have systems, processes, everything like that. But yeah, that's why we built it. Honestly, Nick, it's to make land investing easier, to not waste money on marketing, to be able to target what you want to target.
Yeah, no, and that's what I love about your software. As soon as I heard about it, so we used to use DataTree. A lot of other people might be using companies like DataTree, PropWire, stuff like that, and it was very similar. You know, our customers were getting frustrated getting leads that they didn't want, for lack of a better term. And then, you know, we reconnected. I was actually in, I think, your brother's DMs for like a year. Go me. It pays off, guys. Let me tell you, I'll give everyone a little tip real quick. All right. If you're following up with anybody relentlessly, at no point should you get frustrated with them. I know it can hurt your feelings when you're getting ignored for X period of time, but don't let it. Every big relationship I have now, there's like 6 months worth of DMs where I was totally ignored, and ignored's not the word. Change that word too. They're busy and they might not have a need yet, but people do it to me. That's why I'm bringing it up. They'll message me 3 times and they get nasty with me. And I'm like, you messed up. Don't get nasty. right? So I just want to share that to everyone. When you're, and the same thing works with leads, right? Follow up, be kind, be patient. It pays off. That's exactly how I started my relationship with Land Portal, and now we've literally made tens of thousands of dollars together. So just be patient. Just wanted to drop that on everybody. But yeah, I love the way that you guys conduct it. I'm excited to show everyone the filters. Guys, I really want you to pay attention to the filters. Now, one of the things before we get into it that I'm going to recommend that we do here is I recommend everyone sign up for Land Portals. I think it's their $99 a month option. Okay. This comes with comps and some other big features. Most importantly, it's important for you guys to know your data and how it works. So what a lot of clients do with us is they will have their own version of Land Portal, and they will put all their criteria in and already know how many records are there. They already know. And then when they place an order with us, we actually pull Land Portal data for you. If you get land, we're pulling their data. So you can just give us that exact criteria. You don't have to pull the records out of there if you don't want to, because then it's already included with me. So you don't have to pay them and then we include it. So you at least know the filters, know the data, and then you just say, hey, use this exact criteria and you will get 1,500 records because that's how much I got. That's a really great way to use that tool. And then you still get all of the additional benefits of Land Portal. If you could, Ron, before we get into the filter, since I brought that up already, maybe show us, if you could do a screen share and show us outside of pulling lists, what are some of the cool features like the comps that are just absolutely amazing that you guys offer? What are some of the extra features that they get with that package?
Yeah, absolutely. I will walk there. Can you see okay, Nick?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So a couple of things that come with Land Portal, and we are trying to be, and we really want to be like a one-stop shop. We're never going to be like a CRM. We're never going to, like, we do have some market. I don't want to say never, honestly, Nick, but it's not like in our vision right now to be like CRM. But like, as far as like, so many people have so many subscriptions to a mapping software, and then a skip tracing software, and then a list pooling, and then like it's like a market selection software. And like, we really wanted to combine some of these things. It's Land Portal. It's not Land List. It's not something like that. Like, it's a portal for land investors. So starting off, like you said, we have comp reports on here. A couple like parts of the business, Nick. Like you have market selection, which we have within here. If we look at like what the phase of someone getting a deal is, market research, which we have here. We have heat maps built in. I'm not going to walk through everything within here. We have heat maps. If you want to drill deep, you want to find exactly what kind of county you're looking for, you could put in all these different criteria. It's going to filter down and tell you the counties that you have. Going from there, then you have the marketing stuff where that comes into like list pooling. We do have some handwritten direct mail, which is people are using for very sniper approach deals, which kind of goes hand in hand with what you're doing, Nick, with volume cold calling. Maybe you have a certain property you really want. That's when the direct mail can work. And then we have a bunch of reports, like I said. We have slope reports and comp reports. And that's like the next phase. After you get leads coming in, you have to do due diligence. So you need these map filters down here, FEMA floodplain, wetlands, slope, all these different things, along with your slope report and your comp report. I'll pull up a comp report real fast. It kind of helps people visualize. I don't know what this is, but I pulled it, looks like 12 days ago. Comp report's going to have a lot of data within here. Like, you're going to have your piece of land, that's the subject property. It's going to have what we call the Land Portal estimate, estimated price per acre, all the comps that went into that comp report that you created. And then that's what's kind of coming up. The Land Portal estimate is not based on it takes into account all these comps, but it is not an average. I want to be pretty clear with that. Like, the Land Portal estimate is not an average. It is a combination of comps, and it's a machine learning algorithm that tries to predict the price of your land as valuable or as close as possible. And then finally, like I said, the slope report thing is no one else has this. No one else has this. Everything comes down to accuracy too, Nick. Sorry, this is an old one, so it's not coming up. But everything comes down to accuracy. There's a lot of people trying to comp land and trying to predict prices with AI, but the accuracy is so important. Let me see if this one comes up. They might expire after 30 days. Yeah. But slope reports have a lot of data within there as well. I can run one real fast if you're okay with that, Nick.
Yeah, of course.
Have you played with slope reports much?
No, I've used the slope reporting on the comp though. if that makes sense. So I'm interested to see how deeper down you guys drill. But I know on the comp reports there is a slope. Um,
Buildability feature. Yep.
that's right, which is really good. And I actually use those in my land business whenever we go to make comps. But I've never drilled down the slope report specifically.
We actually just recently, okay, I wanted to find a property that we just recently added this here, which you probably even haven't seen yet, Nick, where you have the comps within here. So all your
Yeah.
comps are going to be built into your card. You can actually show on maps so you can just see all the comps you have and the estimated price. The comp report is always really good to get at some point in your due diligence. I'll pull this one. All right, so
And it's free, just so you guys know, to run a comp report too. They don't charge you for that. It comes included. At Lead Mining, we actually charge $10 per comp. We just use this software. So it's this true story. And it's like, so you could just skip us and get this yourself. It is a game changer.
oops, I did the comp report instead of slope report. Let me do the slope report real fast. And so what the slope report does essentially, Nick, is it analyzes every square meter essentially of the parcel, and it's trying to find a combination. A lot of people, when they talk about slope, they see this data right here. So they see like what percentage of the property is very flat versus this. This doesn't tell me anything. Like, yeah, if it's 90% flat, it might tell me something, but it doesn't really tell me any data, any key points, unless it's actually reading all of that data together. And that's what we did with it. It's looking for what the software calls clusters of buildable areas. You can see this one found one on here, but I'll pull up the slope report here in 1 second. But yeah, this is the slope report is especially if you're working in northern Georgia, North Carolina, these sloped areas, it is extremely helpful. And the cool thing is you can actually filter out. We'll talk about the filters, obviously. You can filter based on these as well. So you don't even have to worry about the most slope land. Give this a second as it's loading, Nick. But yeah, the slope report is probably, I talk about slope report a lot, but I still think I don't talk about it enough, and that because that's how much I believe in the accuracy of the clusters that it's finding. So it's literally, as it's loading, guys, it is literally running through an algorithm on that piece of land and looking for buildable areas. So we'll give that a second. If you want me to move on, though, I can. And we can
That's going. If you want to hit some filters, so we covered market research, we covered comp reports, we covered slope reports, handwritten mail. You do have the LP University if you want to maybe
LP University.
showcase.
Nick's in there too. Nick has a awesome cold calling course in there, ton of value in there. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. It takes a while. If someone wants a full breakdown of the software, it does take a while.
Yeah, right. I'm the same way with mine though. It's like it offers a lot, but focus in these areas, right? And the main thing is getting quality lists and making sure we're not wasting our time pursuing properties that we can't work with.
Yep. Yeah, but we can get the list pulling here, Nick. We'll just go to a random county. We'll go to Alabama. Let's say I'll just grab Baldwin County, Alabama. And I'm going to hit vacant lots here. And I'm just going to hit apply so we can get some kind of starting point here as this is loading. So what it does, a lot of software's vacant button is just going to be the county's telling me this is vacant. The county says it has a $0 improvement value. We're going to say this is vacant. Our software does that. Like, we take county data, but it also will look at satellite imagery. And when you get in rural America and you just ask a county what's vacant, they're not going to be great. I promise you, they are not going to be very accurate when you go to rural America, especially new builds. And the data is always delayed. And then what happens on other softwares when you pull vacant data, quote unquote, vacant data, is 10% of yours are going to have houses. When we started building Land Portal, we were doing a lot of deals in Kentucky. And I'm not even joking when I say 30% of the properties that they called vacant had mobile homes or something on it.
Yeah, right.
Let's just go to and you said that's because of how the county reports it.
Yep, the county, everywhere else gets county data. But if you're not, as a data provider, if you're not like bringing in multiple data sources, if we just take someone's data and bring it and send it to you guys, like, there's not as much value as if we take data from here and we analyze it here. And then there's a lot of different data sources coming into one.
Got it. I know you guys recently did a Google Maps integration.
That's what you see right here. Exactly.
Right. When you talk about data sources. And so it's really cool. You know, you guys are you guys are clearly a successful company and you're reinvesting all the time. That's one of the things I love. You're a lot like our business. You're always providing more. You're never done. It's never done. I'm in your Discord group and I see all the time. I think just yesterday another new feature got released, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that
Or
might have been
something.
that comp feature that I showed on that property card where
Yeah.
you see those comps.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of stuff. So I did 2 to 20 acres, and what I always like to do, I like to give you guys a baseline. And this number on other softwares probably will be different because, like I said, that vacant buttons. One thing we do, a lot of other softwares, we actually get a higher number of records than a lot of softwares. I think it's because like subdivides and stuff, we get that data really, really quick. Like, yeah, we're still getting rid of all the bad properties, but a lot of times we actually get 10% more than other softwares, but it's the good data. That's what I worry about. I don't care how many data points you guys get if it's what you're asking for. The biggest issue is when in a data provider is like you want something, you ask the software for something and you get something else. We try to not have that at all. 2 to 20 acres, vacant lots. Now I'm just going to start putting in some filters here, Nick. Actually, let's scroll down to the one that's going to change the most. There might be other people doing this. We're the first software to have landlocked. So what landlocked is there's no road access there. Why would we want to target properties with no road access? So let's just see this 9,000 numbers go down. We don't want to send Nick a list of 10,000 leads or tell Nick to pull 10,000 leads if 4,000 of them don't have road access. Let's get rid of those so we don't have to worry about those properties without road access. Again, what the software is doing right now, you might get frustrated. We're like, why is that spinning? It's looking at the roads. It's analyzing those. You can see that went from 9,600, I believe is what it was, to 61. There's a third of our list right there, Nick, we got rid of. And that's with one filter.
Yeah. Wow. It's huge.
And it's not property. No one like Alabama. I picked like Alabama. Alabama's like a lot of states. Alabama might have a little higher percentage of landlocked properties.
Yeah.
But every state has them. You'd think when people are subdividing land 100 years ago, whatever, like let's give road access to our properties. It seems pretty simple. There's a lot that do not have road access. All right, let's keep rolling on these. So we did not landlocked. Let's do buildable. This is actually going to be a really big one. So what buildability looks like, this is a percentage of the land that we want to be buildable. And you got to determine what's the best for you in terms of like, if you're going after really big properties, 100+ acre properties, maybe you just want 5% to be buildable. I'm going to put 20 here. So what that's going to be, and you could do buildability minimum acres too. Like maybe you just want at least 1 acre to be buildable, which on 20 acres, that's not a ton, but it can work in this area. I'm actually going to do that. Let's hit that and let's hit apply. So 1 acre of the property needs to be buildable. We didn't lose much there. I'm going to change this to 20% and see what changes. This is going to go down quite a bit, I believe.
I guess that shows how flat Alabama is.
Oh, yeah. This section of Alabama must be somewhat flat, but some of it is so sloped, which isn't bad. It's good that we're not getting rid of, like, I want to keep good data. So we also have FEMA and wetlands, and we're basically saying, like, I don't want properties. In some areas, if you're pulling lists in Florida, Nick, this probably looks a ton different than if you're pulling lists in Alabama. We're not going to have huge FEMA or wetlands issues. These are 2 different data points. No more than 50% FEMA floodplain for a parcel, and no more than 50% wetlands is what I'm asking the software to do right now. And you can do this all at once. It's not like you got to do each individual thing. I just want to demonstrate this number going down. That actually went down 900, which is 10% of our initial list, which is pretty solid.
Right. Yeah. And to Ron's point, what he's showing is just how each layer gets us closer to hotter leads, right? And that's why it's really important to me. And we do some of these things automatically for our clients. There's another one that says MLS.
Yeah, we'll go up there. Let's go up there.
Right. Yeah. MLS. And so we totally remove everything that's on the MLS.
So let's
for you. We do that automatically at Lead Mining. You don't have to request that. I know you don't want that. I know you don't want that piece of land already. But just another huge feature to get things even more drilled down.
Someone who's currently listed their land for sale, exclude active listings. Like we don't want to. I can go on Zillow, I can go on different sites and contact those people if you want. But that's a different motivation person. They're very motivated to sell. They're not very motivated to give you a deal though.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Yeah,
let's
they're not giving
exclude
it to
all
us.
active for sale properties. Let's exclude MLS sold listings as well. So those are typically the last 3-4 years, somewhere there. Another 700. We're about 45% of what our initial list was, Nick. I'm not one to like over. Don't I love getting my list down with bad land. Some people we can talk about other things. Some people do out of county where the owner doesn't live in the county of the land. I don't personally do that when I'm trying to get deals. Out of state, same thing, but that's a little more filtered. They don't just not live in the county, they don't even live in Alabama. Again, that's going to get your list really, really small. We can say that, and we're probably going to get this list, yeah, sub 1,000. I want more
Wow.
leads. I want good
Wow.
leads.
So that took 80% out or
Yeah,
90%
that took
almost.
92% probably off or so,
Wow.
which I don't, maybe they're very motivated, and maybe if you have a small budget, do that, target those, pick up the phone, cold call yourself, something like that. But if you're trying to get a volume of deals, there's a lot of people in here that are interested.
Yeah, overfiltering can definitely be a curse. I tell my clients about that all the time. Some of the foundational items that we're covering today is really what you want to do. When you start overfiltering it, like I think that said 677. Yeah, that's great. But honestly, if you even closed one deal on only 677 records, you're in like the top 3% of investors, right? I mean, this is a volume play to a degree too. So getting the super tiny tight list, although it might be good, it's also restricting in several ways as well.
I'm not very big personally on eliminating things based on people's characteristics, which is where they live, their demographic, everything, anything like that, because you eliminate deals then. But that being said, I do not want landlocked property. What we filtered out, Nick, I don't want. I don't want really slow property. I don't want wet property. I don't want landlocked property. Again, that's not the people's characteristics. That's the land's
Right,
characteristics.
right. And just to drive that point home to everybody as well, and I tell this to all of my clients, like this is my newest teaching, Ron, and we should probably do a podcast about this, but don't put distress in a box. Okay. I've learned that people think they know what distress looks like. And I think your point is focus on the piece of land, working people to people. That's your job. Right. And so it's like when you're talking to a seller, you're talking to them. They don't have to be out of state for them to be qualified. They have to be somebody with the need to sell their property, is what they need to do. And so doing an out of state thing is doing one of those things where you're putting their distress in a box and you're thinking that only people that live out of state would be distressed, when reality, I can't speak for you, but I can speak for me. I've got at least 10 things in my life that make me distressed,
Mhm.
right? I've got 40 things in my life that make me happy too, but we all have something that we own that we want to sell. Right. And so I think it's important for us to focus when it comes to the people part, focusing on our communication skills. And when it comes to the property piece, we focus on our filtering. And I
Yep.
think that that's an important distinction
And
as
I'm
well.
not even saying like if you eliminate everything and like that, and like you might get a better percentage of deals, but you are gonna lose a high volume of deals.
Right.
If it takes 600 of those highly, highly targeted lists to get a deal, but it takes you 8 counties, you have to go, whatever it is, like it's a numbers game, guys. Like you do need good numbers, but if you are going to eliminate deals by over filtering 100%. Try to eliminate, like take the worst, get rid of the worst 10% of land.
Right. The ones you definitely don't want.
Yes.
Right. And I like that. Don't focus on the people. The people, that's your job. Okay. It's your job to be a people person and then get the information out of the people. It doesn't matter where they live or what they're going through. Like I said, we all have something. Right. And so, yeah, I think yeah, filtering out what you don't want and start there. The other thing about land too is it's finite. It's not like houses. You type in a city, you're going to get 40,000 homes that are in the city. You type in land in that city, you're going to get 6,000, 8,000 if you're lucky. So this other purpose of not overfiltering is we're dealing with finite numbers, which is to your benefit, but another reason to not overfilter. There's no more land. There's only more houses coming. Okay. There is no more land coming, right? Unless there's like a tear down, but there's really just more houses. So that's, I think, another reason not to over filter. It's already a shrinking commodity. Don't shrink it yourself even more if you don't
Absolutely.
need to.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I'm not going to use any more filters here, but I'll kind of talk
Yep.
about some other, like this is what I would be doing. If I'm targeting a list, if I'm sending a list to Nick to cold call, I would probably raise my acreage a little bit because I like big deals. But that being said, like I wouldn't do it any further. But let's talk about some other filters you can do within here that people use. So road frontage is a really big one. So if you want to go after subdivides or you want to be very targeted, that's what we do with some of our handwritten mails. Like I get a list. That's when I get real narrowed down. But again, it's the land characteristics because if I'm trying to subdivide land, I'm going to spend a lot on my marketing. That's where the handwritten mail comes in. It might be a list of 80 leads only at once, but I know I'm going to get a few calls. I might not get a deal every 80 leads when I'm going for 1,000 feet of road frontage, 50 plus acres. But that's something that people use a lot. Obviously, a strategy there, and combine it with your other strategies. That should not be your only strategy. Obviously, we have some house data on here. Also, corporate owned. Nick, do you guys call corporate owned a lot or
We
like?
don't. I personally like to exclude all that. It's just a little more different to skip trace is mainly why, in our case. But yeah, we do remove corporate owned entities.
So we're down to 2,600, which is great. 2,600 highly
It's a
motivated
solid list.
individual owners there. You also have advanced filters up here, which we won't talk too much about. But I just want to show you guys land use stuff. And everyone asks me, like, can you, like, how do I filter by mobile? Like, every county is different in terms of their land use, their zoning. You can't, there's not a nationwide thing. So if I was trying to use land use in Baldwin County, you're going to have to look through some properties. You might have to look at the zoning code on Baldwin County's website, stuff like that. People ask this all the time. That's why I wanted to mention that. It is not a Baldwin County, Alabama is not the same as
It's not
Jefferson
universal.
County. It's not a universal thing.
Right. Yeah.
Each county has their own land use information.
Got it.
A lot of stuff down here, delinquents, lien information, mortgage information, a lot of stuff. We're constantly adding to this, but good to know. If you ever want to save your filters too, you can always save your filters right at this button, so you don't have to keep on doing the same thing. Save it, and then you don't have to do it again. You'll just have to change your county. Anything else that I'm missing in terms of the list that you guys have used, Nick?
Let me just look closer. I'm gonna get my forehead big in the screen here while
We
I
have a last sale date right here, which if it was sold not on the MLS, you can definitely use this as well.
So, well, here's what I do with that, just so you know. I don't think I do the recently sold on MLS. I do last sale date,
Okay.
3 years or greater. Is
Okay.
is what it is because you mentioned that this scrubs out somewhere from 3 to 5 years. I like to take a little bit more control, but that would do both, right? Last
Yeah.
sale date would include
MLS,
MLS.
yeah, last sale date will include transfers that weren't on the MLS because a lot of quote unquote sales are just transfers from family member to family member. Sometimes they're inheritance stuff. So that's sometimes why that's why I do like to use the MLS over that
Yeah,
because you don't know. Like sometimes those people might be really good that someone inherited and just got deeded over property. What the heck do I want to do with this
I love
Alabama
that.
land?
I'm gonna update my process with my. Thank you for teaching me how to make my clients more money. But yeah, I like that because to your point, a sale to a county is any new name or any new transfer occurring on that, and it doesn't. It could just be inherited, right? For that case, we
You'll see
could.
a lot of $1 when you go down there because you'll see. I don't think we can filter by last sale price on here, but when you go down like on your list on your Excel, you'll see a bunch of for the last sale dates. You're like, oh, it's sold last year for $2 or $1.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, that probably wasn't sold. That was a family member who either passed away, whatever it was, or just gifted it too sometimes.
yeah. But yeah, so no, I'm not seeing anything else. And what I will just let everyone know, if you brought 2,664 records over to lead mining, we're going to be getting like 30 to 70 leads
I
of
love
that.
that.
That's like yeses that we actually get. And then our average client closes about 1 in 15 to 20
Hmm.
on those. So, if we got 26, think about the 26 high quality records, right? Filtered down. what we're actually doing here is we're taking a cold list and we're almost turning it into a warm list, right?
Mm.
And this list is now our buy box. It's a really cool way to, we're sifting through quality leads. We're not sifting through every lead, which is what you would do if you used one of the competitors or a different list building services. We have to waste money pursuing things we don't want. So imagine getting 30 to 70 leads on 2,600 records for then you to go and work. So I just want to let everyone know what that looks like on the back end if they use us.
I can walk through that slope report real fast, and then you can
Yeah,
take it away from
do
there
that.
if that's okay.
Yeah, it's great.
So slope report, guys, I pulled that for a pretty slope. I don't even know where I pulled it, honestly. Let me see. It's in Kentucky somewhere. Really slow property in Kentucky. So what you're going to see here, you'll see a couple different charts. This is the elevation chart. Again, it has data on every 1 by 1 meter square, the percentage of elevation. Again, all this is looking for is clusters. It only found one cluster. This is a really slow piece of land. It does have this small buildable cluster, and what it's going to do, it's going to tell you all the information. Like, is this enough to build on? It's 0.6 acres, that cluster. You can see the slope in terms of it's only 5% of the total land. 44% of it is flat in terms of this cluster. You can see the different things. This is a really tight area, but what I do with this data is it's just a data point. Like, it's not like it is an end all be all in terms of like, I'm going to take this and I'm going to go buy this land. It's like, okay, this is showing it's pretty sloped in terms of that. Couple other ways to look at slope, contour lines on here. We also have 3D, and like Nick just mentioned, once that loads, you can see how sloped this is. You see a little bit of flat area there.
That is cool. That is cool what you
A lot
just
of
did
information there. And then like Nick said, let's see if it has it here. We are now integrated with Google Earth, which is very nice. And you can drop your person on and like, let's just look at that flat area right here. Like, you go here, this is where it is. Like, yeah, we're not getting much from here. Some areas you can get a lot more information, but they're you'll see the date right here too, imagery date, Nick. If someone says like, yeah, I got rid of that mobile home, it's a piece of trash, I got rid of it. Go on Google Earth and be like, oh, well, 6 months ago, it shows that mobile home is right there. So
Right.
having Google
That's
Earth
right.
and not having to go off site is really nice there.
Yeah. I love that. And then the other point to what you were saying about understanding the data point is these are conversations, right? Imagine talking to your seller and knowing the actual slope of their land. I mean, in houses, they're like, you don't know about my bedroom baths. Why are you even calling me? And imagine calling someone with their land and you actually know where the hill is. Well, hey, my report shows there's a hill in the front. Is that going to be a problem for a driveway if I put that in there? Have you looked into that? So one thing I would look at for a lot of these things, and like Ron said, this is not end all be all. It's inspiration for conversation is kind of how I would look at this stuff, right? These are great talking points and these are great rapport building. Hey, I actually saw, hey, I sent my guy by there. He drove by it. He sent me some photos. Your guy's Google. Okay, Google's your guy, right? And so to utilize some of these things to look like an expert who actually looks like they took time and consideration to analyze the property to the seller is going to go a long way
Huge
too.
rapport building. Send them the slope report, and like maybe they'll be like, no, we did some excavation, we did some dirt, whatever it is. Send them, like, there's nothing on the slope report that is going to, I don't know,
Hurt you.
maybe it could offend them, but like there's nothing on the slope. It's just the land. It is the elevation of your land, and all our slope report is doing is like what areas are flat. Maybe it's really on the back. It works. So I've had so many people come to me and like, I'm using these different tools for negotiation. It looks good. Like, the slope report doesn't look like it's a janky little thing. Like, it looks like it knows the slope of the land. You send that to them like, ma'am, I understand you want $20,000, not for this particular land because it's flat in the front, but let's say it's flat in the back. This driveway is going to cost $20,000 itself. Like, I can offer you 10. I understand if you don't want to, but it's just going to be really expensive for me to do what I want to do with it.
I love how you flip that into a negotiation tool, right? So I talked about it through rapport building, but the other aspect is these are negotiation tools. We are privy to the problems that could be existing on the land, and we use that. It doesn't scare us. We just need it for less. A lot of people ask me, Nick, it's got this. What do I do? Do I leave it? No, you utilize what you know and you try to get it for even less because it's going to be a bigger headache to solve that problem, right?
And it's real. It's honest too. Like, it's not like And it's a lot more credible than just telling the person, like, I drove by the land, it's really sloped. It's like, this is a
Right.
report, a slope analysis report that I pulled on your land. Unfortunately, like this is just gonna be really expensive. Like, it's any person on the other side of the phone is going to understand your rationalization.
That's right. Yeah.
They might say, I'm already giving you a good deal. That's why I agreed to $20,000. And then that's a different conversation.
Yeah, right, exactly. But yeah, I love that. And then yeah, to utilize, well, hey, it's going to cost a fortune, but this thing, and look, that's not a deal breaker for me, but it will affect the price I can afford to pay for the land, right? And one thing I teach a lot of my clients is to have, you want to almost be generating an itemized receipt in their head as to why your offer is what it is. Your offer should never feel made up to them, just how you don't like it when sellers make up numbers and give them to you. Right. So it's good to know, like, hey, because of these four things, here's the offer. And I'm going to have to put 20 grand in for the endangered owl on the property. I'm going to have to put 10 grand in for the driveway. Right. And so I think, and then you could even, one tactic I like is, unless you want to do it, if you actually get these things done before I buy it, I can pay you more. And that's actually a reverse psychology technique, because the reason why they want to sell is they don't want to do any of this. Right. And so you could say, hey, if you do it, great. You guys let me know, but we specialize in this. We've got a guy for every aspect of this. So we do have it streamlined.
Our first property we ever bought was had a bunch of tires on it, like a lot, hundreds of tires on it. And I think we offered $15,000. We called the guy. Dan called the guy. He's like, we can only do 5,000. Unfortunately, like, we're gonna have to get this cleaned up. It's gonna be expensive. At that point, I'm like, I didn't even think of like he could do it himself. But he told Dan, he's like, will you do 15,000 if I clean it up? Dan's like, yeah, of course. Yeah, we'll stick to our word on that. He called us back 2 days later. He's like, yeah, I'm not cleaning that up. Can you guys do 5,000? Like,
I moved
people
15
act like they want to
tires.
do work. Give them two options, and like they might choose the more difficult one for a couple seconds. Then they're gonna call some people, or like he was gonna
So
drive
true.
up a couple hours and go like, good, and like go do it. Like I'd love that for you. Like if you want to do that.
Right.
But yeah, most people are gonna revert to the quick cash because that's why people take our offers at the end of the day a lot of times.
Right. That's right. Yeah, because they're looking for that easy solution as well. Awesome. But no, that's good here. Okay, great. So yeah, I'll get into
I'll stop sharing.
yeah, you got it. And I'll get into, how do we pair this with Lead My Now? I kind of let the cat out of the bag earlier, and that's checking out their offer, checking out their service, their $99 offer. They're actually offering all of my clients $50 off their first month and 1,000 free record pulls. Let me get their site pulled up here. That is leadminingpros.com/land portal. I'm going to get that pulled up in the background just so you guys can see. Screen. At this, but we got it. Bam. Okay. So this is our page. That's me in Laguna Beach so many years ago. Thank you guys for using that photo. And so, yeah, the $99 a month plan comes with really everything you guys need. And the first month's only $49. So that's huge. Consider that like a 50% off trial, right? Utilize it, get your comps. You figure that's only 5 comps from us if we did them for you, right? So huge opportunity there. And then 1,000 free leads, and this is 6 cents a lead. Okay. So, look at what you're getting on the front end, sign up for that. Then once you get in there, build out your criteria, do some market research, find out the filters that work for you, and then focus on that list. Then once you have that list, you'll want to send us the criteria. You could even just take a screenshot if you wanted to of the filters and email us this. We use the same interface, so it's easy for us to follow. Okay, you could screenshot your interface, send that over to us. These are my exact filters. I already know there's 2,600 records. I like that too. So that way, if my team does something wrong, hey, got 3,000. Well, you left something out there, right? So it's a good auditing process. And then we can get off to the races. We can pull that exact thing for you. The other part is how our packages work. I'll do a screen share on my website. I'll get this pulled up in the background. This going. Okay, again, handsome Nicholas has blessed us with his presence. And here we have, and these are our packages. Now, what I recommend for my clients is, so the way this works is land is if you're pursuing land, and houses is if you're pursuing houses. It's not both. Some people think, oh, am I going to get both? What if I don't want land? It's actually or. I have to figure out how to easily portray or in here, but that's my own issue. But yeah, so these are either or. Okay, as you guys can see, land does do twice as good as houses. You generate twice as many leads, and the closing ratio is really the exact same. That's the cool thing about land. That's what I like. And then think about now, it's not just general land, it's highly filtered land. So you know if you've got a lead that meets that criteria, that it's a good lead, right? And I think that's important for your confidence and for your operations. Now, here about 2,000 records. Here, what we do, we pull all our data from Land Portal. Okay, so we'll pull 2,000 records for you and skip trace them. After that, we about 1,500, 75% come back with mobile numbers. Okay, mobile numbers are what's good. All right, landlines, that's for the birds. Okay, don't worry about landlines. Don't do that. Okay, I don't like landlines. I don't believe in them. Focus on the mobile numbers. All right, mobile numbers are walking around in everyone's pocket. Landlines are at home. If I'm shopping, I don't hear my phone ring. If I'm in the other room, I don't hear my landline ring. If I'm outside doing yard work, I don't hear my landline ring. And landlines, if you guys don't know, they don't have the best missed call features. It's not like a cell phone. I don't pick it up. But that call comes and goes, it's gone. It's gone. Okay. So just some reasons why I hate landlines. I'll shut up about landlines now. But we get about 75% mobile numbers. So we get 1,500 records with mobile numbers, and then we call everyone twice, and then we text everyone once. That's our system. Out of that, we generate anywhere from 20 to 60 leads on that. And a way to look at that is 20 is probably more saturated markets. Okay, 60 is going to be more rural land kind of stuff like that. The other thing we have, this is our American packages, and we do include 3 months free of our CRM, 2 months on this one as well. And then our CRM is just $75 a month after that. Now, if you know you're in a saturated market, let's say you're doing land in DFW, okay? Well, I wouldn't hire an American to do calls in DFW. I wouldn't hire an American to do calls in Austin, Houston, Phoenix, Chicago, any of those metro areas. If we're looking for land there, you're going to want to check out our overseas callers, right? These guys, they are exceptional. They are going to be the best foreign overseas caller you've heard. I personally vet them for an American accent, right? So I only hire foreign callers that sound American, right? And that's because first of all, not only is your brand on the line, but my brand is on the line as well. So I need exceptional callers from you for you guys. So if you know you're in a saturated market, you're going to want to check out our foreign packages. Okay, I have these in 6 different sizes. All right. And just so you guys know, these packages are just guides. We can customize anything you want. I'm the owner of the company. Whatever you want to do, we can do it. But the packages, they're just guides as to what's to do. We can do anything in between, smaller, larger. Customers ask me all the time, what's your minimum? Great news. We don't have a minimum. I don't prefer to do a $20 lead gen package, but I will if your list is that small or if your budget is that small, right? And then we go all the way up to $7,000 at least on the site. But now you guys have market research tools at your disposal. You also have comps at your comps is the number one thing. I can't even tell you. One more thing I'm going to screen share, and I'm going to show you guys a workflow in my land business, okay, that we actually use that actively uses the Land Portal estimate in every lead that we work. So let me just do one more screen share. And if anybody wants access to this, I'm not going to give it to you automatically, but if you DM me on Facebook or shoot me a text message and ask me for it, I'll get this over to you. And the reason why I'm making you ask for it is because I want to make sure you watch this and not just give you a bunch of, because this is actually how I run my land business. Okay. So I'm going to do this rather quickly, but lead comes in. That's us. We did our job. This is your job. Make the first call. Rapport building and due diligence is the goal. Take notes, rapport, improvements, that the caller's questions get answered. What's their reason for selling? What would they do with the money? What's their timeline to sell? Have you sold a piece of land before? I love that question because it's an easy question. I use that. Hey, have you ever sold a piece of land before? And no matter what they say, no matter yes or no, okay, great. Well, look, we believe in transparency, and I will walk you through every step of the process, including reviewing the contract. So again, no matter what they say, we use that line to let them know all the great service and care we're going to provide. And then I love finishing up with this sometimes, especially if the person's a little waffly. If we end up agreeing on a price that you're satisfied with, the next step would be signing an official offer. Would you be open to that? That's basically saying, hey, are you really going to do this? If we talk for 2 hours, are we really going to do this? If we do this for 3 days with you and do this dance, are we going to move there? Now here's the TLPE. So under the comp section, after we talk to them, if we have a good call, what I teach my clients is if we have a good call and they're easy to talk to, that's a qualified lead. A qualified lead isn't someone with gaping, raging distress in their life. Okay. A qualified lead is someone who's easy to talk to. Okay. So here comes the comps. So the first thing we do is we go over to the land portal and we put in a comp, and we call our comp a TLPE. And that stands for the Land Portal Estimate. Okay. TLPE report. Reminds me of Office Space for anyone who's seen that movie, right? A TPS report, but a TLPE. So I then, on our deal research analysis, my team goes in and creates a comp report and then puts that in the notes in the CRM on the lead. So on that, we have the land portal estimate, we have the potential max value, the estimated repairs or improvements needed, right? Whether that's road or whatever. And then what is their price? Like what do they want? And then the estimated profit. So my acquisition managers takes all of these numbers and they put this in the notes after that first call. Then we all meet and we come up with a plan, right? Because this, knowing all those numbers is everything. I mean, that is the deal, right? So once we have all that, now we come up with a strategy. Well, they want this much. We got to get them down here. Well, maybe the strategy is negotiation or talking about the slope or talking about the wetlands or, well, we got to get them from 50 down to 35. Okay. So we create that plan. So this tells us exactly what to do next. Then we try to set an offer at 40 to 60% of the TLPE, of the land portal estimate that they give us. Okay. And as you guys can see, confirm offer in group chat before you make it. That's the plan part. All right. I don't just want my acquisition managers making offers without confirming them so we don't have overtly disappointed sellers. Right. I want us all in agreement. That's how I like to run my companies. Let's all agree on it together. And then if offers requested, like fast, we haven't finished doing our research yet in this neighborhood, but we are actively looking. Okay. And so we want to let them know, hey, we do provide care. Oh, we'll actually send you the slope report. Since you showed me that, I would add in here, send them the slope report because we're probably going to use that in negotiations. But then we could say, hey, here's some of that research that we said we were doing. Right. And now we're proving to the seller that we're actually doing what we said we were going to do. We didn't just say we're going to do research and then not talk to them for 3 days. We actually show them the tangible research that we did. So guys, this whole process that we just showed you starts with the list and the filtering, okay, which Land Portal provides. Then you send that criteria over to us. We'll pull the records, skip trace them, cold call them, text message them all for you. We'll then generate 20 to 60 leads. Then we go back to Land Portal, all right? And that's where we run our comps and our slope reports, okay? So this whole thing really is an all-inclusive system. Between them, a CRM, and us, and you making the calls, it is all you need to close deals. That's why I wanted to make this video today, because you really don't need anything else. Maybe DocuSign or something to send the contracts out with. But that's how simple lead mining and Land Portal together make your land investing journey.
I love it, Nick. That's
Yeah.
simple. That's what like everyone's trying to complicate things nowadays. Make it simple. I love it. Keep it
Yeah.
simple.
Well, I've learned that if I had a superpower, it would be simplifying, would
Mm,
be my superpower, right? I've got 30 employees and I used to run restaurants and, I'm not going to lie, some of my employees couldn't speak English and some of them couldn't read. Like, I'm not kidding. And I remember I worked with this one guy who couldn't read. And then I was like, how do you know that that's chicken fingers then? Because tickets come in. And he goes, well, yeah, I know that those symbols mean chicken fingers. I was like, holy shit. But when you're dealing with that, simplicity is key, and so I've got a career in making things extremely simple. And the truth is, I can't speak for any of you watching, but if it's not simple, I'm out.
mm.
Okay. I am not signing up for complexity on anything that I do, which is exactly why we are calling this a masterclass.
I love it.
Okay, because now you're going to be able to master it. Guys, I'll share one more time. leadminingpros.com/land portal. Okay, we'll get you signed up for their offer. First month, $50. Get in there, get that first month, find your criteria, get those records over to us. Let us fire up a campaign for you. It's gonna change your life when it comes to land investing.
I love it.
And Ron, go ahead.
No, I said I love it. It's like you said, it's simple. It's a good offer too. Like it's not the most expensive thing. Like you can get this business up and running. You do need the tools. So many people try to avoid the tools that are needed or try to like get the cheapest thing and then you have really bad data. You have whatever the situation is. There is an importance in quality, but at the same time, it's not the most expensive business. Starting a restaurant is a lot more expensive than starting a land business.
Right. Yeah. You imagine what $100 a month. And just to share one real life example, one of my clients was using one of your competitors and they charged $6,000 a year. Okay. For their data. All right. And I'm talking to the client and I'm like, hey, dude, like, and this is actually what inspired this video today. And I was like, hey, man, like, you don't have to spend all that money. I was like, what I would do is I would go to Land Portal, sign up for their $100 a month package, which for 12 months is $1,200 a year. Okay. So that just saved him $6,000 to $1,200 just got saved by that piece of advice. Then I said, what are we going to do with that 4,800? I go, at Lead Mining, I include the data. Right now you're paying $6,000 a year for all this data. But if I include it anyways, why would you double pay? So I said, take that 4,800 now that you saved and you can buy 3 huge lead generation packages for us. And the reason why I share this is I looked at this guy's budget. And I went from 0 lead gen. He was not doing lead gen, but he was pulling lists, but he wasn't doing lead gen, to all of a sudden that same exact budget included data, phone numbers, calls, and texts. And it didn't do that before. Before it was just data for $6,000. So guys, your tech stack is extremely important. So when he talks about what a great deal this is, that is why this is a big deal. Think about that huge amount of savings. And now your money is going towards the right direction.
I love it. Yep.
Very cool
That's
stuff.
a great example. And it's not like it's just it's the quality option too. Like it's not just like
Right.
getting cheap or going from 6,000 to whatever, because it's not cheap to pull data, but that's what is so great about what Nick provides. He literally pulls data directly from us. He is taking your guys' charge. We don't give it to Nick for free. Nick knows he's not getting it from free for free to us. He gets a good deal. But that's why it's so beautiful is like he takes all that off your plate, give him the $2,000 a month, and the amount you can get with that in terms of leads and deals and just ROI is unbelievable.
Well, and that's why, just so everyone's wondering why, Ron would even be on here offering this, they're so generous, being 100% honest, that they know that I pay less than their average customer does because I have this big bulk plan, and they still want to provide all of the service. And they know it's about your end result. No matter what, the data is coming from them. So they have a huge generous spirit. They aren't being greedy. No, they got to get it from me for this much. It is really beautiful, the heart that they have over there, for you guys. And I'm serious, Ron. It's a huge deal. But brother, this covered everything I had. Do you have anything for us before we get out of here?
I don't. I just want to thank you for everything, and Yeah, like I can't endorse you. I don't just endorse services or softwares for no reason. I can't endorse your service anymore in terms of how much it has changed people's businesses and lives.
Absolutely. No, and I thank you guys for all the customers you've sent over. It is a mutually beneficial relationship, and we can all only hope that we find referral partners in what we found in each other. But guys, call my cell anytime. It's on the website. Reach out if you need anything. And thank you so much for watching today.
Thanks, Nick.
All right,
Thanks,
everyone.
everybody.
See ya.